UFC Atlanta this Saturday. You're back. I mean, Rose. I mean, I get fired up for this. How about you? You fired up? You ready?
I'm fired up.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about here. You're coming off the loss to Aaron Blanchfield, competitive fight. What are the emotions here coming into this matchup against a streaking Miranda Maverick?
Yeah, definitely when you remind me of the last loss, I'm frustrated. I know. No, I wanna get it back though, for real. Like, it definitely because I was so close, I was right there. I think I needed a little more willpower and a little bit more determination, you know what I mean? Like, so it just sucks when it's so close like that and you just come up short. So that's what I'm going in with. I'm going in with, trying to just do my best and I know I'm gonna do better, and yeah, I'm hoping for the best result, and I just wanna do my best, and whatever that ends up being, I'm submitting to God's will, but I really want to do better.
I mean, it's still true
Yeah.
that you're the mother effing best. Sorry for my language here, Rose. I mean, that's still
Well,
true,
yeah,
right?
I
Yeah,
I believe that.
that's what I'm talking about. Is
Yeah.
it crazy to you that you've been in so many big fights, so many title fights over the last 11 years since your debut in the UFC, and you're still 32 years old in your physical prime?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about all the ups and downs that I've been through, and it's been a cool journey, and I'm still here. I'm still swinging, and I got a lot of fight left in me, so I'm excited.
How would you categorize the transition to the flyweight division? We've seen you up, we've seen you down, we've seen really good performances and close losses. What are you confident in who you are in this weight class and that there's still a big run to the top here?
Yeah, there is, because I know what I know. I know that what I'm capable of, and so it is a little frustrating feeling like I know that I can do better, and I know that it could be a lot better, and so it's just kind of one of those things where uh I just have to submit to God's plan, because at the end of the day, it's like it just wasn't his plan at the time, and also I've made some realizations too, that I've realized I've made a lot of adjustments in my training, as far as like just me realizing that I was like kind of holding myself back, and I didn't even know that I was doing that. Like, I thought I was like, I'm like I'm like, in training, and I'm like breathing hard, and then, or I'm like struggling with something, and past like, you're just letting these people do this. I'm like, what are you talking about? Then I'll go back and rewatch it, just all of a sudden until now, and it's like, oh yeah, what was I doing? Like, why am I just like kind of just sitting there, and I'm thinking, I'm like, I'm breathing, I'm making myself breathe heavy. So it's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, it's one of those realizations where it's like, oh, it's better to realize that now, and hopefully that translates into the fight, and hopefully, um, yeah, that's just what I'm praying for, that I'm not crazy, and that yeah, the adjustments are the, I guess, the difference maker.
Do you think you were giving too much respect for your opponents or maybe just not realizing how dangerous you can be at this weight?
Um, Well, I guess in the fights and stuff, I guess I'm more was speaking on like the training and stuff, and so I
Sure.
think that's where it kind of like, I think what it is um I think you kind of that's a good question. I think it's just, in reality, something else is going on in my mind than what's really going on. Like, I'm just thinking, like, was overthinking before. Like, I'm, overthinking about, oh, what this person, maybe it is giving them too much respect. You know what I mean? Like, without without having that balance of like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know exactly how to describe it.
Rose, I don't know if you get down like this, if you care about this, if you sit by the fire pit and debate it, but like there's a pretty strong case that you're the greatest strawweight that this sport's ever seen. Do you feel that? Do you walk around like that? I mean, you beat Rose twice, Whaley twice. Nobody else is doing that. I'm sorry, you are
Yeah,
Rose. You beat Yuana twice.
yeah.
Excuse me. Nobody
I
else
beat
is doing
myself
that.
sometimes too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would, man, I mean, that's kind of like up for people's, opinion. It's all opinions, at the end of the day. I mean, I genuinely, this is a thing, like, Whaley is wonderful, and she's currently the best at strawweight, obviously, and I just feel, though, as if ever be matched up with her, I'm just gonna beat her every time. I'm just in my mind. That's just how I feel.
Sure.
Maybe, but but I did have not necessarily like what she's accomplished at strawweight. I don't know necessarily that I've accomplished the same thing. So that's the only. I mean, I've definitely beaten Joanna twice, and this and that, and so has she. So it's like you can kind of compare and contrast. So, but I just always feel. This is how I feel. She may be the better. I guess like champion or fighter with the resume, but I just feel like I'm the better martial artist. Like I'm the best martial artist. And so that's just when I'm fighting her, that's what we putting on the line. I don't care if it's a belt or this or that. And so I just have in my mind like she's so amazing. And so I'm just so motivated to like just ascend to that level, you know what I mean? And so that's just why I feel like I'll always beat her.
I mean, you may get a chance to fight her again for all you know. Does seem to
Yeah.
be the idea that she could move up to this weight class. What do you feel about that potential?
That would be very exciting, if she somehow, got that opportunity and beat Valentina, which would be pretty phenomenal and commendable, then I got that.
Okay. Okay, there we go. There we go. Speaking of
Yeah.
the top of this division, you fought Manon Fiorot in a very close fight that I feel like maybe people don't talk enough that you were injured in that, yet you persevered, you hurt her with shots.
Yeah.
What was your opinion of her performance against Shevchenko and the aging legendary champion pulling it out and once again defending that title?
Yeah, I think hindsight's always 2020, right? And so like that was kind of my like when I had a feeling Valentina was. I mean, I had a feeling Valentina was gonna beat her because when you watch like Uh, well, one, I just feel like she's just the greatest, other than like Amanda Nunes. Like I just have high regard for her. But as far as like stylistically, it reminded me a lot of when she fought Holly Holm at 35.
Sure.
They both were lefties, and I just feel like even though Manon's a little bit more of a counter striker than Holly is, but so I just kind of felt like that was gonna play out very similarly. And then not just that, but like Manon was trying to use her physicality, and it's like you can't really bully the bullet, you know what I mean? Like it's just you gotta out technique her, I feel like. And so and that's tough too. But not just that, like it looked like she had a really strong training camp. She was really like she just feels like revitalized and things. And so I just kind of had a really good feeling that she was gonna win, and she did. I mean, it wasn't like this like Manon made it competitive at times, but I mean, Valentina just outclassed her, I think, in overall. So that was pretty awesome. Um, and then, yeah, and then with my fight with Manon, I mean, yeah, that was a little unfortunate because I knew I could beat her. I was like, I know everybody was like, oh, she's so big and this and that, and I'm just like, to me, the size don't really matter to me. Sometimes smaller people are tougher to deal with depending on who it is and stuff. So to me, it was like when I broke my pinky in the first, I was like, oh crap. I was just like, it was just unfortunate, But and I try not to be like, it still wasn't no excuse because at the end of the day, like, sometimes things break, So
Sure.
um so anyway, so like hats off to her, but obviously like I felt like it took me the whole second round to be like, shake that off like in my head, like don't worry about this freaking pinky and just go. And then it was like I started finding my rhythm like towards the end. But it is what it is. It's a good learning lesson under my belt. And especially like I know people are like, oh, go back to strawweight, and I'm just like, dude, like y'all don't realize like that was not the issue.
Yes.
The size was not the problem. I know she was big, don't get me wrong, but like to me it's like I don't know, I just feel like I feel good here. And I just don't like cutting all that weight.
Well, it's the topic's out there because Kayla Harrison has revealed how insane her cut is to get down to 135, and congratulations to her on
Yeah.
climbing the mountain there at bantamweight. Do you look back and be like, man, maybe that was maybe I did that for longer than I needed to? I mean, what is that weight cut? What was that like for you? Was it intense and insane as we suggest?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it was nearly as crazy as Kayla's, but it's like you got to do what you got to do. And I technically probably still could make it. It's just like, but like the way that I felt, and I feel like body types are different too, and especially as you get lower and lower, I feel like the harder it is. like every pound matters more the
Yeah.
smaller you go. So I feel like now, and I have put on more size, and I naturally was just getting bigger and bigger each time. So I don't know, it just, like, what we do is already dangerous as it is, but then when you're adding like the dehydration and stuff, I just really didn't like it. And then, and I only have like, I also have this goal of becoming two division champion still. So like that's my other goal. Like I've already achieved whatever goals at strawweight that I wanted to achieve. I became champion, I defended it, all this stuff. And like sure, I could go back down there and I think I would become champion again if I really wanted to. But I just feel like I've been there and done that already. And if I can and if whatever this and the adjustment to make to one weight class, I feel like takes time, and it takes
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot that has to come together. So I don't want to waste my time, doing something that I already did.
So no question about it. I understand. It's a different
Yeah.
time in your life, different time in your career, and
Mhm.
you're in this division. You're in contention. You're one of the bigger players for sure. Let's talk about Miranda Maverick, who I believe, to correct me, you sparred with in the past. You've worked with. You know her well. What has been that history between the two of you?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know her super well, but I know her in the gym, and I've trained we've sparred together. So we've sparred together over the years, and then I'd say the last year, maybe year and a half, is when we've sparred quite a bit. She's come to our gym to spar. Like she trains over at like Easton's and Pound for Pound, so she would come up on Tuesdays, and yeah, we spar together. And so um yeah, so we know each other's tendencies, or at least like most of them. And so and then yeah, she ever since I had the fight with Macy, that when she pulled out last year, she was one of the first people to like throw her name in a hat and want this fight. And she was pissed that Tracy got the fight over her
Okay.
because she was matched up to fight her. So I've been knowing that so ever since then I always kind of had my eye on her, as far as like, oh, she wants my spot. And so I got to show her that she got to look for a different spot.
There it is, right there. I mean, this would be
Yeah.
the biggest breakthrough moment of her career. So we know what's at stake for her. How do you frame what this win could do for you and your title hopes?
Yeah. I think it's all just about like just performing the best that I can, and just being myself and doing what I know I can do. And so at the end of the day, I've really had a really good camp. Like I know like everybody always says that, but like just the realizations that I made about just like kind of like I don't know, just stepping it up and stuff. And like I just really feel like as long as I can make that work and make and portray that and show that to the rest of the world, I'll be either one away from a title shot, or like right there, or really close. So it's just, especially with everything else going on in the division, we don't really know what's going on. Um so yeah, that's what I'm praying for.
Last time you were in Atlanta, it was a real big fight back at UFC 201. Karolina Kovacevic, a split decision loss.
Hmm.
It looked like you were on the verge of a title shot. Boy, would you get back into that title picture and do big things. What do you think about when you look back on that fight in Atlanta back at UFC 201?
Yeah, that was definitely like I was in a rough place in my life at the time. But it was a good experience. I learned a lot from that. It was funny, like, just everything going into that. Like sometimes there's certain losses, like the last loss where I was so mad, and then there's other losses where you're just like, yeah, you know, and it is what it is. And that was kind of one of those where I was just like, like I knew that I wasn't, like I don't know. I was just in a weird spot in my life. And so and then I changed a bunch of stuff around, and I went on to become champion and stuff like that. And so um yeah, definitely way different now. And I think that from that loss, and that's kind of what I draw from that loss to now, where I was really like wanting to be, in title contention, want to get that title shot. And I was on my way, and then I hit that little speed bump, and I was like kind of discouraged. And I think after the last loss, I kind of took that same, like, I've been here before, like, it sucks that I lost, but I can jump right back in there if, things all play out. And it's really not up to me. I just have to show up and do the work, and and do my best. And if it's in God's plans for me, then that's what happens. But I have to be content with whatever happens regardless, as long as I do my best.
Well, I love the attitude. I know we're going to get a fun fight. Co-main event this Saturday in Atlanta, UFC Fight Night. You against Miranda Maverick. We're going to be fired up to see it, Rose. Thanks for the candid chat. Always interested in how you process this crazy experience, but you've inspired many with being so open about it. So I appreciate that. And go get them on Saturday.
Awesome. Thank you.